Afternoon, South Africa. Good afternoon, class of 2020. Today we're going to be looking at history paper 2, grade 12. We want to look at the nature of resistance in South Africa. Now, basically this afternoon we want to look at the international response to apartheid in South Africa. You will understand that the legacy of black consciousness led to raising awareness to the international community and to the blacks across the globe, to an extent that the international community was aware of what was transpiring in South Africa. In this lesson, we're just going to look at two anti-apartheid movements. We're going to start with the British anti-apartheid movement, which was formed in 1959. So you notice that the British anti-apartheid movement was aiming at fighting against the injustices that were in South Africa caused by the apartheid government or the apartheid regime. Now, you'll notice that communities were formed and committees were formed in order to actually address the issue of apartheid in South Africa. These committees ended up calling for sanctions in South Africa. At the end of the day, South Africa was isolated. Now, it is very important to understand each and every anti-apartheid movement and its role in actually leading to the downfall of apartheid in South Africa. So the British anti-apartheid movement played a pivotal role in actually leading to the demise of the apartheid government in South Africa. You will notice that the British anti-apartheid movement led to the Irish anti-apartheid movement. Because of the British anti-apartheid movement, the Irish anti-apartheid movement also became a success. It was targeting on actually isolating South Africa in terms of boycotting the food and boycotting the things that were produced in South Africa. So you'll notice that the Irish anti-apartheid movement also played a pivotal role because this isolated South Africa as a whole. How did it isolate South Africa as a whole? In terms of production, South African produce could not be sold overseas. At the end of the day, this stifled the government. As it stifled the government, it meant that there was no foreign currency coming into South Africa to support the government and support its activities in actually making sure that apartheid was still a dominating force in South Africa. For today's lesson, we'll just end with these two movements. But in our next lesson, we're going to focus on the sports boycott, cultural boycott, the sanctions, and how the trade unions and the frontline states also contributed to the anti-apartheid movement, and also the Release Mandela campaign as it led to the demise of apartheid in South Africa. We hope that you benefited from this lesson, and you can follow us on our Facebook page on Learning with Tabo MM. Please follow, and you'll get all the content that you need for you to pass for your November NSC examinations 2020. Thank you for your time. Meet you in the next tutorial.